Yeah, it's your boy Tone DeShields II, and you guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. As I always say, I am extremely humbled and grateful to be in the presence of beautiful people like yourself. Before we get too deep, before we get too far, I would be remiss if I don't say, smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show, especially if you're new. And if you're new, right? If you like the vibes, if you like the energy, stick around for a while, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the show. Don't be a stranger. Take your shoes off, kick your feet up. Mi casa, su casa. You feel me? And by the way, don't forget to hit that notification bell. The notification bell is currency, just like that like button. The like button helps improve the algorithm. That notification bell helps improve the timeliness of when you're notified when it comes to the live streams, the post, the things on the community page, anything that goes on when it comes to Chalk It Up Sports. That notification bell will keep you abreast, and you'll always be privy to the show, and you won't miss a beat with your boy. Shout out to my man Trey979 and Twiz in the building. Appreciate you guys so much. We got a lot to talk about. Some news came across the wire today. Some very fascinating news. And of course, the story can't be told without looking at the past. It's really hard to know where you're going when you don't really know where you've been. And I got to be frank about this. Jordan Mailata has come a long way. Jordan Mailata has come a long way from being a rugby player. He's accomplished a lot. He's proven a lot of people wrong. And the good brother just got paid again. Let's just get right to the details. Let's get right to the shits. Let's not waste any time here. So, Jordan Mailata, according to Adam Schefter, Jordan Mailata is receiving a pretty big extension here. It says here, Eagles and left tackle Jordan Mailata reached an agreement on a 3-year, $66 million extension that includes $48 million guaranteed and a $20 million signing bonus. The deal ties Mailata to Philadelphia through the 2028 season. The $22 million per year average salary puts him behind only Laramie Tunsil, Trent Williams, and Andrew Thomas amongst the highest paid offensive tackles in the NFL. First and foremost, congratulations to Jordan Mailata. $48 million in total guarantees, $20 million at signing. You can do a lot worse for yourself. you can do well worse for yourself. And I've been talking about this. I've been talking about the fact that the Jordan Mailata re-up was coming. I didn't hear too many people tapping into it the way they probably should have. Maybe they have, maybe they didn't, who knows? But I know for a fact, and you guys can vouch. We've talked about the Jordan Mailata re-up for quite some time. We've been talking about it for weeks. We talked about Hassan Reddick and Devontae Smith and all these other guys, the AJ Brown contract. And my whole thing was, look, the Jordan Mailata re-up is closer than what people think. After the 2024 season, he would have been entering a contract year, and he would have been a free agent in 2026. Now this locks him up through the 2028 season. So the money is definitely well placed. It's well deserved. So now, not only is Jordan Mailata secured for the foreseeable future, you also secured Landon Dickerson earlier in the offseason with a 4-year deal or a 4-year extension worth up to $87 million. So the entire left side of the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line has been secured. The quarterback's blind side. And I love it. I have nothing bad to say about the move. Here's the thing. You can have all the talent you want on the perimeter. But if you ain't got the offensive line to protect your quarterback so that talent can be showcased, what's the point? What difference does it make? Let's just call it what it is. If you can't block anybody, who cares if you got an AJ Brown? Who cares if you have a Devontae Smith? Who cares? If you can't block, what difference does it make? So, again, congratulations to Jordan Mailata for securing the bag once again. This makes him the fourth highest paid left tackle in the NFL. Laramie Tunsil is ranked first with a 25 million average annual salary. Andrew Thomas is second with a 23.5 million annual average. And Trent Williams is third with a 23 million average salary. And Mailata comes in fourth with 22 million. So, for one, I got to give credit to Jordan Mailata and his agent for being well aware of what the market rate is for the position, especially a guy like Mailata, and saying, we ain't got to reset the market. We ain't got to be the highest paid guy. Just pay my guy fairly. Just put him in the room with those guys. And he's a top five. Jordan Mailata by talent is a top 5 left tackle in the NFL. Name me 5 left tackles in the league better than him. Tell me 5. You can't. You can't. He's arguably on the level of a Laramie Tunsil. He's arguably on the level of an Andrew Thomas, maybe better. Trent Williams, he's in a league of his own. He's just a freak of nature at the position. I think Trent Williams is going to the Hall of Fame. He's goated at the left tackle spot, him and Jason Peters, excuse me. That position, man, you can't take that left tackle spot for granted. And Jordan Mailata has been getting better and better every single year. And I still don't think he's even in his prime yet. Or maybe he's just entering it. Mailata just turned 27. And I apologize if you guys are experiencing any sort of connectivity issues on my end. Wi-Fi will clear itself up in a little bit. Make sure you guys smash that like button on the way in. We got 29 people total in the live stream, 16 people on YouTube, 13 people on the X side. Thank you guys so much. Again, as you guys come in, as you guys head out, please smash that like button. But the extension also gives you more flexibility on the cap. You know, doing your work early, taking care of your offensive line early, that cannot be overstated. It can't. You made Landon Dickerson, I think, the second highest paid guy at left guard. He was the first. He was the highest paid, but I think somebody else got paid and made him the second highest paid. But regardless, Landon Dickerson, top 5 paid guy at the left guard position. Tell me 5 left guards better than Landon Dickerson. Please find him. You can't. You can't. Please. I beg of you. Find me 5 left guards better than Landon Dickerson. I'll wait patiently. Find me 5 guards. Okay, so I stand corrected. Landon Dickerson is still the highest paid guard in the NFL at 21 million. They don't separate the left and right guards like they do left tackle and right tackles. But as far as guard goes, Landon Dickerson is at 21 million. Chris Lindstrom for the Falcons is at 20.5 million. I would argue Landon is better than him. Robert Hunt with Carolina is making 20 million. I would argue Landon is better than him. Quentin Nelson making 20 million. I would argue Landon Dickerson rivals him. Mike Onwenu. I would argue all that. Zach Martin, he's going to the Hall of Fame, but I would argue Landon Dickerson is on par with him right now. Granted, Zach Martin is, on the back end of his career. I can go on and on. So the bottom line is you lock up Landon Dickerson for the foreseeable future. You lock up Jordan Mailata for the foreseeable future. Your offensive line, at the very least, the left side is intact. You don't have to worry about that for a while, and you're paying them accordingly. You're paying them the market rate. I respect it. I respect it wholeheartedly. Your center position, though. Will Cam Jurgens pan out? Will Cam Jurgens be able to step into his own? Right? I don't even want him to be Jason Kelsey. I want him to step into his own and provide his own spin on what he can bring to the position. Philly Entertainment says, Tone, does that mean we won't pick up Smitty's fifth-year option? Of course they're picking that up. They're definitely picking that up. They would be idiots to not pick up the fifth-year option. The fifth-year option provides them flexibility. So, yeah, best believe they're picking that up. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Stop saying guys will just be fine. Because last time I checked, Cam Jurgens has battled injuries over the past couple seasons. Definitely last year, being in and out of the lineup. How many games did Cam Jurgens play last year or last season? Because he was definitely in and out of the lineup all year. So Cam Jurgens played, wow, worse than I thought. In 2023, Cam Jurgens started in 11 games for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2023. 11 games. So please stop just saying guys will be fine. Stop doing that. It's unrealistic. He still has a lot of work to do before we even start considering him the long-term answer. That's my humble opinion, though. Shout out to my man Corey in the building, Twiz, Bo 1990, Michelle Sigliano, Philly Entertainment, S Blunt, Chad Crawford. Thank you guys for joining the show. JDM Life, Betting Yourself Media, Trey 979. Thank you guys for being here. It means a lot. It means a lot. Chad Crawford has a question. He says, Tone, do you think it's a definite that it's Cam's job to lose at center? Of course. Definitely. It's his job, but he got to stay healthy. I don't care who handpicked who, by the way. If he can't stay healthy, it don't make a difference. It don't make a difference. He gave you 11 games last year. We're talking about Cam Jurgens, Corey. Talking about Cam Jurgens. You know, the entire left side has been locked up. Mailata just got his extension. Landon Dickerson got his extension earlier in the offseason. So congratulations to both of those guys. Lane Johnson obviously is still here. Probably has maybe about a year or two left, depending. We never know. Right guard spot still up in the air, in my opinion. Tyler Steen versus Matt Humphrey. We'll see. Cam Jurgens at the center spot. Definitely he's going to be the guy. But again, the reality is Cam Jurgens has to continue to step into his own. He played right guard last year. He's a natural center, obviously. And we saw him at center. We saw him at center in the preseason. So we know he can do the job. I don't really question Cam Jurgens' ability. I question the availability, right? He gave you 11 games last year as a starter for the first time. First time starting, gave you 11 games. Not good enough. Not good enough. When I talk about Cam Jurgens, I don't talk about his talent. I don't talk about his talent. Cam Jurgens has to prove he can stay healthy. So he hasn't proved that yet. He hasn't. That's the reality. In 2022, he played 17 games. You know, it was times he would come in a rotational capacity, but he wasn't playing full-time reps. His first time playing full-time reps. And he couldn't stay healthy. Happy birthday, Rock. Happy birthday, Rock. IBH says, I love this. The best part is the Eagles actually traded up in the 7th round to get him. They're still working hard that late in the draft. Yeah, man. The Jordan Mailata arc. The Jordan Mailata arc is truly something to behold. Truly something to behold. Truly. So yeah, again, right? The offensive line, when it comes to the Eagles, we don't really question that. We don't really worry about that too much. We don't really think about the offensive line, and we take that, and sometimes we take that for granted. We think that it's just going to be okay. We think that it's just going to be what it is. And the reality is, you can't take it for granted because we went through a season where the entire offensive line couldn't stay healthy. Remember 2020? 2020. Remember the 4-11-1 season? That didn't just happen because Carson Wentz was bad. That's not the only reason that season failed. That season failed because your offensive line couldn't stay healthy. The only person that stayed healthy was Kelsey all year. And Kelsey is a freak, right? Being undersized and being healthier than the other guys is insane. It's wild to even think about that. But we've been through seasons where your left tackle, your left guard, your right tackle is in and out of the lineup, in and out of the blue tent. Remember that season? So I refuse to sit here and say, oh, Cam Jurgens, he'll be okay. I refuse to say that. His first time with full-time reps, he only gave you 11 games. He only gave you 11 games. That's not enough. Do guys get hurt? Sure, things happen. But 11 games is not enough. In a 17-game season, when your offensive line is supposed to have the most continuity out of any position group, you want your offensive line to be steady. So you want Cam Jurgens to come into the season in better shape. You want him to come in with the conditioning intact. You want Cam Jurgens to come in with the nutrition intact. And sometimes freak things happen. It could be a pulled groin. It could be anything. It could be anything, right? And people got to take their panties out of their ass. Just because you acknowledge a guy's injuries doesn't mean he's not a good player. Right. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, a guy who's just here. Thank you. He says it was his first year as a starter, though. Could have been a fluke. We'll see what happens. And that's all I'm saying. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. That's all. Like, we'll see what happens. That's it. I have nothing bad to say about Cam Jurgens. My only thing is, hey, try to stay healthy, brother. That's all. And I don't think it's a crime for acknowledging that. I don't think it's a crime at all. And I've come to realize certain people on here just like to play contrarian. So we're gonna start ignoring those people. But yeah, Cam Jurgens, I don't question the talent. Jordan, it's funny, right? The Eagles do such an amazing job drafting offensive linemen all throughout the draft. It doesn't really matter what round. They do a pretty good job at developing them. That's the thing I love about the Philadelphia Eagles. They develop the trenches, in particular the offensive line, like no other. And that's obviously because Jeff Stoutland. The Jeff Stoutland effect is quite literally the realest thing in the NFL. Quite literally the realest thing. So my man Corey donates to the channel. He says, smash the like button, y'all. Tone sends autographed cowboy hats. That's funny. That's funny, man. That is hilarious. So yeah, shout out to Jordan Mailata for getting the big deal, man. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you, Corey, for the $1.99 super chat. Means a lot. Means a lot, man. A guy who's just here says, I'm never worried about the level of play from our O-line, like ever. I know you can take it for granted at times. And then when things, it's easy to take it for granted. It's easy because you think it's supposed to just be what is, Kelsey's not here, so it's going to be a new look offensive line. We're going to see how the Jalen Hurts, Cam Jurgens relationship blossoms. We're going to see how that works. That's something that we don't talk about much either. The transition from Jason Kelsey to Cam Jurgens. That's something that needs to be considered. That's something that needs to be considered for sure. No, we didn't get to the Maddox move yet. I got you, flexing. We didn't get there yet. We're still talking about the offensive line. You know, Mailata getting his huge extension. Mailata signed a 3-year extension worth 66 million, 48 million in total guarantees, with a $20 million signing bonus that puts his average salary at 22 million, which puts him in the 4th spot behind Laramie Tunsil, Andrew Thomas at 2, Trent Williams at 3. He's secure through the 2028 season. He just turned 27 and he's entering his fifth season in the NFL. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good seeing Mailata get taken care of. It's pretty good seeing him get taken care of. Shout out to Corey again for donating to the channel. But yeah, you know, the offensive line, you know, the Eagles' offensive line is easily, well, I'll put it to you this way. The Eagles' offensive line is debatably top 3, probably top 5, absolutely top 10. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you lose Kelsey, you're losing something. I got you, Blunt. I got you. I see you. I got you. Health is wealth at the end of the day. Health is wealth. You know, if we talk about if we criticize Dallas Goedert for health at times, and we criticize Avonte Maddox for health at times, you know, Cam Jurgens is no different. You know, again, first year starting, and yo, wait, Mac Main, that is hilarious. He said Maddox got gout. That's crazy. But yeah, you know, Cam Jurgens is a guy that I don't think talent is going to be the issue. But we definitely got to take into account the development of the chemistry between Cam and Jalen Hurts. That's going to be something that's going to be really interesting to watch, how they call things at the line. You know, the trust level in certain situations. Those are real life scenarios that we're going to have to you know, keep an eye on when it comes to this Eagles offensive line. The right guard spot. Shout out to my man S Blunt with the $1.99 super. He says thoughts on Steen or drafting the right guard. You know, so I don't think Steen has locked anything up, you know, officially. I mean, as of right now, I think he is penciled in as the starting right guard, but I think he still has to continue to develop at that spot. The first game he started was against the Cowboys, and he was okay. He was all right. You know, he wasn't spectacular, but he wasn't bad. He was serviceable in that game. And again, it was his first game starting, and he went up against some pretty stiff competition. So I like Steen. But I definitely think they should continue to challenge that position. I don't think no one should be guaranteed anything at that right guard spot. That's my mindset. Continue to challenge him, continue to challenge that position. Bringing in Humphreys. Is that what it is? Hennessy, excuse me. Bringing in Matt Hennessy from the Atlanta Falcons, who has starting experience at guard, at center. He was poised to be the starting, I believe, guard in 2023, but he got hurt. But you bring in a guy like that who's still very young as well, he's going to challenge Tyler Steen, and it's only going to bring the best out of him. And the Stoutland effect is real. So I don't think that Stoutland isn't going to be able to bring the best out of Tyler Steen. It's just a matter of, you know, is Tyler Steen the long-term answer? You know, Jeff Stoutland does such an amazing job to the point where he puts the ball in your court. He gives you all the tools, gives you everything you need. He puts the ball in your court. Will you live up to expectation or not? That's why Andre Dillard didn't last in Philadelphia, because Jeff Stoutland continued to challenge him, continued to put the pressure on him, and he couldn't take it. He refused to be a versatile player. He refused to do whatever it took to get on the field, and he didn't last. And lo and behold, he goes to the Tennessee Titans. They pay him, and I think he got benched before the season even ended. So Andre Dillard is cooked. He's cooked. Definitely, he's cooked mentally. At best, he'll be a rotational offensive lineman in his league because he just doesn't have the mental fortitude to play the position. He clearly doesn't. You know, another team gave you a shot. They paid you. and you couldn't even hold that down in Tennessee. It's a shame. But yeah, I like Steen. But I don't think they should stop challenging that position. I don't think they should stop challenging him. I don't think they should guarantee him anything. Shout out to my man S Blunt once again with the super chat. Philly 007 with the $4.99 super. Charges to the game. You know how we give it up here. You know how we give it up here. Charges to the game. No matter if we win or if we lose. You know how we give it up. I appreciate you, Philly 007. Thank you for donating to the channel. Okay, what is going on? But anyway, yeah, man. It's gonna be really challenging. Also, they did cut him. They ended up cutting him. So Dillard did get cut. I'm not sure. Did he get cut? I can't tell. Okay, cool. Damn, they did. Okay, so they did cut him. Wow, that's crazy. See, they gave him that. How much guaranteed dollars did he get from them too? That's a good question. What were the guaranteed dollars that they gave him? I'm curious to know about that. So it's saying here he's still on the Titans. Oh no, it's a dead contract. It's a dead contract. So he did get cut. You're right. They gave him 13 million in guarantees. They gave him 13 million. Thank God they got out of it though. But you still lost 13 million. It's crazy. You basically guaranteed half the contract. Stealing money, man. So as of right now, Andre Dillard has made approximately 25 to 30 million in the NFL just by being the first round pick. Dude just doesn't have it. Dude just does not have it, man. Jerome Anthony, thank you again for the super chat, by the way. 007, I appreciate it. Jerome Anthony, welcome to the show, my friend. He says Steen has to work on his footwork to start at guard. He was stepping on his teammates' feet last season. Yeah. Yeah. He has work to do. That's why I'm not saying that's why I'm not saying he should be guaranteed anything. I think he should be challenged still. Matt Hennessy says that. Him coming to the building says that. I mean, you lost Jack Driscoll, you lost Sewell Opeta, you lost guys like that. So the depth has to be restored to an extent. So, as a matter of fact, let's look at the depth chart right now. Let me pull the depth chart. If you guys are just hopping in, we are addressing the Eagles extending Jordan Mailata to a 3-year, $66 million deal with $48 million total guarantees with a $20 million signing bonus. This contract secures him through the 2028 season in Philadelphia. By the way, he did just turn 27 years old, and he's entering his 5th season in the NFL. He's now making an average annual salary of $22 million a year. That puts him in the 4th spot behind Laramie Tunsil, who's making $25 million, Andrew Thomas at 2, who's making $23.5 million, and Trent Williams at 3, who's making $23 million. And I mentioned it earlier. I like the fact that Jordan Mailata, him and his agent, they weren't trying to give the Philadelphia Eagles a hard time. Basically, what they said was just pay my guy accordingly. Just pay him accordingly. Take care of him. He ain't got to be the highest paid guy, but just make it make sense. And it made sense. I can't name 5 left tackles better than Jordan Mailata. I can't. Other than Trent Williams, you can you can debate anybody at number 2. You can debate it. Other than Trent Williams, the number 2, 3, and 4, 5 spot is debatable in the NFL. Other than Trent Williams, and I stand on that. Mailata, is he 2? Is he 3? Is he 4? Listen, he top 5. Just that simple. And then you secured Landon Dickerson earlier in the offseason, so that's something that has to be brought up again as well. You secure the entire left side for Jalen Hurts, protecting his blind side. It doesn't matter who you get in free agency from a talent perspective. It doesn't matter if you got an A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. It doesn't matter if you got Dallas Goedert or Saquon Barkley. If you can't block, it don't mean nothing. If you can't block, it's absolutely meaningless. So I'm so glad Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson are locked up for the foreseeable future. And then obviously Lane Johnson is here. The right guard spot is still up for debate. And then the center spot belongs to Cam Jurgens, unless he finds a way to screw it up, which I don't think he will. I don't think from a talent perspective he can screw it up. He just has to, try to stay healthy, take care of his body the best way he can, and he'll be all right. He'll be all right. I am interested to see how the dynamic between him and Jalen Hurts continues to develop, though. That's something I got my eye on. So yeah, if you guys could do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show, especially if you're new. Every new person, to the show, and listen, it adds more steam. It adds more fire, So make sure you guys are a part of the Chalk It Up Sports Mafia. And also make sure you guys hit that notification bell. That's pretty important too. But yeah, let's pull up this depth chart, the Philadelphia Eagles depth chart. That's going to give us an idea of where we stand as far as depth. Alohi DC says, now we just got to get Devontae Smith contract done. Yeah, that's coming though. I think that's coming. I don't think there's any debate that he's going to get taken care of. I don't think there's any debate. So we have 51 people on the Twitter side. We have 50 people on the YouTube side. So it's pretty much split right in half. We have 50 people tuned in from YouTube, 51 people tuned in on X. All right. Let's pull up the Eagles depth chart. Let's zoom in a little bit, make it easier for everybody to see. Okay. All right. So here's our depth chart, you guys. Here we are. So let's go to the offensive line. That's where our focus is right now. We're also going to address Avonte Maddox coming back as well. Don't get me wrong. We're definitely going to address that. But at right tackle, you have Lane Johnson, and then you got LaRaven Clark behind him. The Eagles have kept LaRaven Clark on the roster for the past few seasons. So they clearly like him in that backup right tackle role. They clearly like him. You got Tyler Steen at right guard as of right now. And then you got Brett Toth and Darian Kennard backing him up. The Eagles definitely like Brett Toth. Darian Kennard, don't really know too much about him. At center, you got Cam Jurgens, and then you got Lycidas Smith. I don't know too much about him. I think he was on the practice squad. I don't remember him being on the active roster throughout the season. You got Landon Dickerson starting at left guard. Matt Hennessy is the backup left guard because that's where Matt Hennessy really specializes in, left guard. But I know they're going to cross-train him to right guard. And again, maybe he competes with Tyler Steen, but Matt Hennessy by default was a rotational center and rotational left guard in Atlanta. And then you got Jordan Mailata at left tackle, and the depth behind him is Fred Johnson. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles can definitely stand to improve with their offensive line depth. I mean, you lost Jack Driscoll, you lost Sua Opeta. Those are some pretty vital. Those were some pretty vital players. So, as much as we have so much faith in the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, we have to keep it in perspective that they can use a little bit more depth behind those starters, because I don't know much about Jason Poe. I don't know much about Lasita Smith or Darian Kennard. Um, Brett Toth, the Eagles like him clearly, but he can stand to get better. LaRaven Clark, same thing. Fred Johnson, same thing. Fred Johnson, never really saw the field for the Philadelphia Eagles over the past couple seasons, and he's definitely been on the roster. And also a lot of these guys are work from the practice squad and just were elevated or whatever, naturally at the end of the season. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Philadelphia Eagles leave this upcoming draft with maybe two offense with maybe two offensive linemen. I wouldn't be surprised, not one bit. Um, I think he leaves with a right tackle and a right guard. I think he I think he leaves the draft with a right tackle and a right guard. Or let's just put it this way, a tackle and the right guard. That's what I think. But definitely a right tackle. And the Philadelphia Eagles are strange birds, because although we feel like they should go defense in the first round, we know it's entirely too plausible that this team would draft an offensive lineman in the first round. We know, like we know that's just what they are. That's just what like they would completely shock us all. Well, would it really be a shock though? Although we all say to ourselves, "Oh yeah, they got to go defense in the first round. It's a no brainer." Would we really be shocked if they drafted an offensive lineman in the first round? Like, I wouldn't. I mean, would I have my opinions about it? Sure, but it's no way. It's no way I would be shocked about it. Fitness Warrior, welcome to the show, my man. As a matter of fact, let me put it to you guys like this. I want to ask you guys, and I want to try to get a metric on this. I'm going to put a poll in here. I'm going to put a poll in here. If the Eagles draft offensive line in the first round, how will we feel? There we go. So I want to know what you guys think when it comes to this. All right. My patience is running short. So, but yeah. But I think about the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, the starters, okay, cool. Matt Hennessy, can he stay healthy? That's another thing. He's not going to be a starter, obviously. Well, we don't really know. But can Matt Hennessy stay healthy, right? Lasita Smith, how good can he be? Can he be trusted? You know what I mean? We've seen Brett Toth play. LaRaven Clark, I feel like we've seen him play a couple times too. So far in the live stream, through 14 votes, 57% of you guys would be happy. 36% of you guys would be disappointed. 7% of you guys would be confused if they drafted an offensive lineman in the first round. I put confused in there because I want to I want to see how many people actually think they shouldn't. Because if I wouldn't be confused if they did that. I would be like, you probably could have waited. But I would be confused. I mean, I wouldn't be confused because that's not. I mean, that's in their nature. I would probably be disappointed though, only because I feel like they don't have to reach for an offensive lineman, or they don't like they're so good at developing them. They can take an offensive lineman who, with some moderate skill and elevate them. You know what I'm saying? So if they did go offensive line in the first round, I'd be disappointed. I would be disappointed. I wouldn't even lie to you guys. And it's not because an offensive lineman doesn't help you. It's the fact that you can get one in the second and third and turn him into a player. You feel me? And again, sorry about the Wi-Fi, you guys. Do me a favor, make sure you guys smash that like button. But yeah, I would be gravely disappointed if they drafted O-line in the first round. I'd be like, that's just me. I want a defensive player. I want somebody who's going to come in and make an impact on day one. You draft the offensive lineman in the first round, he probably won't start unless you put him at right guard. Twist says, I need the scenario. Who's on the board? I mean, it can vary. I mean, the scenario is they got the option. They can go O-line, they can go edge, they can go line. Like they got the option and they choose to go O-line. Like that's the scenario, you know. But overall, they gotta wait on O-line. They gotta wait. Corey says, Tone, do you trust Howie to take a defensive player in round one? Do I trust him to take one, or do I trust him to take the right player? Because I think that's what you really mean. Like, do I trust him to take the right player? Is that what you really mean, Corey? Because I trust him to draft a defensive player in the first round. Do I trust him to draft the right player? Ugh, man. I, I don't know, Corey. Howie Roseman is a wild card, man. He's a wild card. He is a wild card. I trust him to draft a defensive player, but I don't know if I trust him to draft the right player. And that's the rub. That's the rub. But here's the thing, right? He can surprise us. He can surprise us. What if he drafts a stud? What if he drafts a legitimate blue chip player? What if he shocks the world and drafts a legitimate player? And here's another thing that we have to keep in mind. Here's another thing, right? You know, I don't know if we've considered this notion. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but follow me here. What if he drafts the player that a lot of us deem to be a no-brainer, right? What if he drafts the player that you're happy about? Right? It could be a handful of players, but what if he drafts a player that you're comfortable with? Based off everything you know about the player, what he did in college, the combine, and all that kind of stuff. What if he drafts a player that you're happy with, and the player still ends up being a non-factor? Do you blame Howie for that, for getting the evaluation wrong, or do you blame the player for not living up to expectation? I'm curious about I'm curious to know what you guys say about that. What if he drafts a player that you have no issues with, but then the player doesn't live up to the expectation. Do you blame Howie for misevaluating, or do you blame the player for not living up to expectations? S. Blunt says the Eagles turned to Dillard as their left tackle to replace Jason Peters. Jordan Mailata was a reserve. Crazy, right? Yeah, it is crazy to think about. It is crazy. Twiz says blame the coaches for not developing the players. Infamous says blame the coaching. Mac says how are we going to draft the kicker in the first round? Flexen says blame the player and the coaches. Philly, what's going on, my man? I appreciate the love and the support. Thank you. Fitness Warrior says it has to be the player because we have a lot of experience in the coaching staff and well-known names. That's another thing too. You bring in Vic Fangio. He's a guy that has a lot of experience coaching. He has a lot of it. So overall, it's going to be really fascinating to see. It's going to be fascinating. Kyle Kokorski says, Tone, for what I'm hearing, Fangio wants to draft linebackers. I hope so, because that linebacker room is far from complete and far from a sure thing. As much as I'm optimistic about Devin White and Zach Bond, that linebacker room is far from being trusted. Far from being trusted. And I'm getting to a point where I'm saying to myself, yo, are the Eagles cursed? Are the Eagles cursed at just not knowing what to do at the linebacker spot? I'm getting close to that. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting close. Because we're going to ask ourselves, damn, it don't matter who we put in there. They can't get it right. So then you got to ask yourself, is our philosophy on how we coach them wrong? Or is our philosophy is the Philadelphia Eagles philosophy flawed when it comes to developing linebackers? Again, I'm optimistic about Devin White. I'm optimistic about Zach Bond. I'm even optimistic about Nakobe Dean a little bit. I know a lot of you guys may be shocked about that. But I'm optimistic about Nakobe Dean a little bit. Just a little bit. Not tremendously, but a little bit. I'm more optimistic in Devin White than I am Nakobe Dean, but Nakobe Dean does have some optimism from me because he's still young. He's young, and I don't want to write him off yet because it's been injury issues. It's been injury issues, not necessarily play issues. So I want to find out what he is through 17 games or at least 15 games. I want to at least find out what he is before I completely wash my hands of him. I don't know what he is yet. I know he's undersized. I know he can't stay healthy. Those are the only two things that I know about him. You know, but at the same time, the best player will be on the football field. The fact that they brought in Devin White, Owen Burks, Zach Bond, they brought those guys in because they're not even sold on the Kobe Dean. So they want to hedge their bet and make sure they got enough people in that building to at least have something hit the dartboard. Flexing and Steppin says he's a bust. 63 Mortison says, 63 Mortis, excuse me. He says, I'm optimistic about Dean if he can stay healthy. Devin White and Dean having history is great for his growth. Yeah, but they never played together. They never played together. I don't know the extent or the true extent of their history. I just know that Devin White mentioned how he tried recruiting him. But overall, we're going to find out. Again, a player I'm really excited about, is is Zach Bond. It's something. It's again. I have nothing really to base that optimism on, other than the fact that when he got his opportunities to start last year for the Saints, he was a stat sheet stuffer. He was a stat sheet stuffer when he got his opportunity to start. So, and I also think Zach Bond is going to be used in a lot of pass rush situations. I think Zach Bond is going to be used as a blitzer a lot. Um, he's very fast, very athletic. Um, he gives you some versatility at the position for sure. Um, but a guy who still has to come in and prove it. That entire defense has to prove that they're serviceable, by the way. They all have to prove it. And roast pork Italian. I'm glad you brought up the college thing. Um, I tried to tread lightly with using college to just be the end all be all for why a guy's going to be good. But he was a part of that Wisconsin room. I think he kind of crossed paths with, I believe, Watt, TJ Watt, and TJ Edwards and Nick Bosa, I think. No, Nick Bosa's Ohio State. No. Wait, I can't remember. Yes, Nick Bosa's Ohio State, excuse me. So forget that. But yeah, the Watt brothers are the Wisconsin guys. So yeah. We'll see though. We'll see. It doesn't really mean much ultimately, but it's something to think about. It's definitely something to think about. And he seems like a diligent guy. He seems like the kind of guy that takes his job very seriously. But ultimately, we'll see. My man Corey Allen with the $1.99 super. He says, optimistic. Did Howie drop a super chat in here? Nah, I wish. And if Howie ever dropped a super chat in here, man, I need that thing to say $1,000. That's what I need. Go, Howie. Go ahead. Drop that super. Drop that mega chat, Howie. But thank you, Corey, for the $1.99 super, my man. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, the Eagles brought back Avonte Maddox. Who would have thought? I didn't see that coming. Well, actually, I take that back. That's not necessarily true. It was always a possibility. It was always a possibility that he would come back. All right. So yeah, Eagles bring back veteran defensive back a month after releasing him. The Eagles are bringing back Avonte Maddox on a 1-year deal for the 2024 season. Let's read some of these notes here by way of Dave Zangaro of NBC Sports Philadelphia. It says a month after they released him, the Eagles have re-signed slot cornerback Avonte Maddox, per ESPN's Adam Schefter. NBC Sports Philadelphia confirmed the news. The Eagles released Maddox on March 6th to get out from under the final year of his contract. He had 1 year left on a 3-year, $22.5 million extension he signed in November 2021, and he was due $6.85 million in 2024. While he'll now carry about $7.72 million in dead money, according to Over the Cap, his base salary presumably is far lower. The details about the contract haven't really come out yet, but obviously the Philadelphia Eagles felt like they had to cut him to lower that cap hit or to avoid the cap hit. Obviously, they got some dead money to deal with, but $7 million or $7.7 million in dead money is nothing that you can't really maneuver around. But they decided to bring him back clearly at a lower base salary. I'm looking forward to the details when they come out. Bringing Maddox back with a significantly lower price tag makes sense since he's a very good slot corner when he's healthy, but he's just had trouble staying healthy. He missed 6 games in 2020 with an ankle injury, played just 9 games in 2022 thanks to ankle, knee, and toe injuries, and then was limited to 4 games in 2023 after undergoing surgery to repair a torn pectoral in September. He came back for the last few games of the season after undergoing surgery to repair a torn pectoral muscle, but wasn't close to 100%. So yeah, bringing Avonte Maddox back, it helps. It definitely helps. Kyle Kokorski, yes, I'm definitely going to be live during the draft. That's definitely a fact. We're going to be live on draft day. But yeah, bringing Maddox back, it makes sense. He's still a relatively young player, but he's a guy that has to stay healthy. Avonte Maddox is Avonte Maddox is 28. He's 28. So still, but here's the thing about Avonte Maddox. He's 5'9, 5'10, 185 pounds. You know, he plays the game so physically that he kind of just throws his body around. And you know, he's not the kind of guy that he doesn't shy away from contact. Like, I like his mentality, right? I like Avonte Maddox's mentality. He throws his body around, but he just can't hold up when it matters most. So maybe he needs to alter his game a bit or his approach. I don't know. I don't want him to lose that edge, right? Avonte Maddox plays fearlessly. He plays the game with an edge as well. And the Eagles defense is definitely better with him. You know? And then S. Blunt brings up a good point. He says, I like Maddox for the slot. We only had McPherson, but we should still not rely on him like we did this season. Exactly. And then I think that's why, I think that's another reason why they wanted to get away from his contract, the way they did, because they knew they would have owed him more money than he probably deserved. And they clearly cut him to get rid of that. And then they brought him back, at a lower number, obviously. And low risk, high reward is what I say. Nate says they say Maddox got hurt today answering the phone. Fitness Warrior says, Tone, watch out for Sylvan Davis. He's in here to make sure you don't talk about the same thing for 30 minutes. Hey, listen, give Sylvan a break, man. Give Sylvan a break. He felt my wrath yesterday, but it wasn't really towards him. Shout out to Sylvan, by the way, for coming back. He says, yo, what's good, bro? I'm back. Appreciate the content, bro. Keep doing your thing. Thank you, Sylvan, for being a good sport. Thank you for being a good sport. Flexen says, I trust McPherson over Maddox. I don't know if I trust. I mean, do you mean from a health perspective? Because I can't even say that now. McPherson tore his ACL or his Achilles, whatever it was. McPherson missed the whole season last year. So, I mean, I don't know. Flexen says they just wanted to bring back Goddard's bestie. Maybe Dallas Goddard did have something to do with that. Don't you think it's interesting how Maddox and Goddard struggle to stay healthy, and they used to live together? That begs the question: what the hell were they doing? I need to know what's going on in that in that fridge, because Maddox and Goddard are two guys that couldn't stay healthy, that can't stay on the field, and they used to live together. They need to change their habits. That's a fact. They need to change their habits. That is a fact. But overall, though, I like Maddox coming back. I'm not against the move, not one bit. Another body that you have that's going to add some competition. And look, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Remember, they brought in the slot corner. Let's not forget, they brought in the former Raiders nickel corner, Tyler Hall. Tyler Hall is 5'10", 190, 25 years old. He's a very fast player. He ran, let me double check this if I got this right in front of me. Yeah, he ran a 4.40 at his pro day in Wyoming. He's been in the league since 2020. Spent the season in Atlanta, a season with the Rams in 2021. And then he spent his 2022 and 2023 seasons with the Raiders, where he played primarily at the slot. For his career, over 78% of his snaps came at the nickel. So he is a nickel corner. So when you bring back Avonte Maddox at that lower price point, his spot on the roster is not guaranteed. It's not. So I say that to say Tyler Hall can earn that nickel spot. He has accumulated some good experience with the Raiders. He's accumulated a good amount of experience where he can challenge. Avonte Maddox. And Avonte Maddox doesn't have guaranteed money like he used to, so he's going to have to come in and earn it. He can't come in and just, play like he got it made. He's going to have to come in and prove himself and stay healthy. And I think in a perfect world, the Eagles will love Avonte Maddox out there. They trust him. They may not trust the health, but they trust his ability. Fitness. Oh man. You definitely did throw me off. I'll admit that. You definitely did throw me off. You definitely threw me off. And Jules, here's the thing: Isaiah Rodgers, because a lot of people feel like Isaiah Rodgers could be that slot guy, but Isaiah Rodgers, if I'm not mistaken, primarily spends his time on the outside with the Colts, right? Let me make sure. Let me look this up and look up his situations. I think Isaiah Rodgers primarily spent his time on the outside. If I have that correct. But again, could he challenge for that slot spot? Maybe. We'll see. Or again, Isaiah Rodgers, he played a lot of his time on the outside when he was with the Colts. So could he challenge? Yeah. Yeah, flexing. You read my mind here. You read my mind. Can he push Bradbury? You read my mind. Could he push Bradbury? I think the Eagles would not mind moving on from Bradbury if they can make it work financially. If they have someone who can challenge him and prove that they're better. That's the thing. That's what it's going to come down to. Can Isaiah Rodgers push Bradbury? Is Bradbury guaranteed anything? I don't think he should be guaranteed anything. I think Bradbury should have to go out there and earn it. And honestly, as a matter of fact, let me look at Bradbury's numbers. Let me look up some information about him. Because I need to know just how much of this contract is killing the Eagles. Okay. So, as of right now, in 2024, James Bradbury, his cap hit is actually very manageable. Shout out to my man Cody with the $5 super. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. He says, as a Colts season ticket holder, Rodgers played slot because of the Moore and Gilmore being there and playing outside. Rodgers is an outside corner. Okay. So Rodgers is an outside corner. Okay. Thanks, Cody. Thanks for the insight. So Rodgers is a natural outside corner. So he's gonna challenge Bradbury. He should definitely challenge Bradbury. Cody, thank you so much for donating to the channel. Kakakorski says, Tone, everyone on defense should be worried about losing their job except Jalen Carter and Josh Sweat. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think everybody should be on notice. MJS says, I love Ringo. I think he has a lot of potential. You know, Ringo has a lot of physical traits that you love. Size at the position, the athleticism. You know, he has great closing speed, you know, long arms, things like that. So he has traits you like. He just has to improve on his technique and instincts. And I think and you know, we'll see how far he can go. Maybe Ringo becomes a starting outside corner for the Eagles. We'll never know. So Cody, I won't be able to pull up his PFF specifically against Tyreek Hill because I don't pay for Pro Football Focus. I already pay for a lot of subscriptions and I can't add another one. But I think I think you're talking about Eli Ricks. I think Ringo did good against DK Metcalf. He did good against Metcalf. Ricks is the one that did good against. He's the one that did well against Tyreek Hill. I think we get that mixed up, right? We get that mixed up a bit. Ringo had a very good game against DK Metcalf, while Eli Ricks had a good game against Tyreek Hill. But you need, and thanks again, Cody, for the super chat. Thank you, man. But you gotta start developing these young guys, man. You can't keep drafting guys and then they're not on your roster in 3 years or 4 years. You got to like when you draft these guys, you got to make sure they hit, or you got to develop them to the point where they can become a starter for you, a legitimate starter, not starter because you don't have anybody else. Somebody who's worth starting. That's what the Philadelphia Eagles need on defense. They need guys that they trust that can legitimately start, not guys that are just there because they're there and they're the best of the bunch. Sylvan Davis says, bro, for real, Trashberry owes CJGJ a little something. He masked a lot of his flaws. A lot of people say that, man, and I can't disagree. The moment that safety help got worse for James Bradbury, he became a lesser player. But also the moment the pass rush disappeared, he became a lesser player. So these corners, these DBs, they rely heavily. They rely heavily on the pass rush, and they definitely rely heavily on their safeties. On top of that, not making any excuses for him, but I didn't like some of the positions they put James Bradbury in, especially on the back end of the season. They were doing a lot of single high safety, putting James Bradbury in a lot of man-to-man situations, and that's not his forte. He doesn't have the speed to play man-to-man. You don't want James Bradbury in any one-on-one situation. You just don't. You want him with some safety help. No, I don't think Slay is trash. I don't think he's trash. I don't think that. I think Slay just, I think he's aging. I don't think he's trash though. We have 115 people in the live stream, 59 on YouTube, 56 on X. Thank you guys so much for locking in throughout the show. All my people on the X side, don't hesitate to go to the YouTube side, man, and smash that like button, and also make sure you guys are subscribed. It means a lot to me, helps the content grow. So all my people on the X side, on the Twitter side, don't hesitate to go to the YouTube side real quick, smash that like button, and tune in from there. It'd be awesome to convert you guys into YouTube viewers. But I also appreciate you guys just watching the content in general. I don't want to be ungrateful. It's pretty dope that you guys lock in consistently on Twitter or X. It's pretty awesome to see that. 65 people on the YouTube side, 57 on the X side. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. But yeah, just to do a quick reset, for anybody that just hopped into the live stream, to spin the block and double back, the Philadelphia Eagles did extend Jordan Mailata. The Philadelphia Eagles gave Mailata a 3-year contract extension worth up to $66 million, with $48 million in total guarantees, with a $20 million signing bonus, which secures him with the Eagles through the 2028 season. On top of that, he just turned 27 years old, so you can make an argument that he's beginning to enter his prime. And he's also going to be entering his 5th season in the NFL, starting for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I talked about this, right? You guys have been locked in on the show pretty much every day, and we've discussed that the Jordan Mailata re-up was due, and it was coming faster than what we thought. And lo and behold, they decided to get ahead of it. They felt like there was no way they're going to allow him to go into the final year of his deal on a lame duck contract. And you get ahead of the market. The cap is going to jump tremendously. And Mailata and his agent made the conversation pretty simple, is what it looks like. If I had to surmise, they said, look, we don't care about being the highest paid. Just make sure he's paid accordingly. Make sure he's paid fairly. And I can respect that. You do have some people, some players, some representation who likes to go in and like to just break the bank, and they want to be the highest paid at their position instead of thinking from the perspective of just pay my guy fairly. There are guys who care about that kind of stuff. Agents care about that kind of stuff as well. But Mailata clearly is in a situation where he trusts his representation. He trusts the Philadelphia Eagles as well. And I'm curious to know who he's actually signed with from a representation standpoint. So his agents are Graylin Crane and Jeff Nolly. They're a part of Select Sports Group. I don't really know too much about those guys, but Jordan Mailata was a former 7th-round pick, 233rd overall in 2018, and he's been a project for the Philadelphia Eagles. And Jordan Mailata, he became a player for them, a guy that they trust. He became arguably a top 5 left tackle in the NFL. There's only one left tackle that I would easily put ahead of him, and that's Trent Williams. Other than that, you got to argue with me about everybody else. You got to argue with me because I'm not budging on it. If it's not Trent Williams, it's Jordan Mailata. You're gonna have to argue with me about that. So again, congratulations to Jordan Mailata, and that happens also on the heels of them extending Landon Dickerson as well. Landon Dickerson got a big contract too. Landon Dickerson earlier in the offseason signed a 4-year extension worth up to $87 million. So Mailata got paid, Landon got paid. Devontae Smith is definitely next up, but his 5th-year option gives the Philadelphia Eagles a lot of flexibility. And, like I mentioned with Landon Dickerson, the fact of the matter is Landon Dickerson is arguably top 5, top 3 at his position. You can't tell me 5 left guards. You can't give me 5 guards better than Landon Dickerson in the league. You can't. And not in my opinion. You can't give me 5 guards better than him. So Mailata, Landon Dickerson, that entire left side is locked in for Jalen Hurts. So that's awesome. And the Philadelphia Eagles are going to always prioritize the trenches. That's completely on brand for them. Also, by the way, I do apologize if you guys are experiencing any connectivity issues. Wi-Fi on my end has been acting pretty funny. But regardless, we're here, and I appreciate you guys. Make sure you smash that like button. It really helps the content grow. So I appreciate you guys. But Devontae Smith definitely is next in terms of the extension. There's no scenario where I see the Philadelphia Eagles not making sure Devontae Smith is good. I think Devontae is going to be just fine. It's going to be just fine. Real quick, let me make sure I take care of these supers. Okay. So yeah, okay. And my man S Blunt donated to the channel once again. Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. He donated earlier in the show. He's donated again. Thank you. S Blunt says Slade, Bradbury, Ricks, Ringo, Rogers, Maddox, Hall, McPherson. Would you still draft the corner? That's a good question. That is a very, very good question. That is a good question. Part of me says, damn, I would love another corner, but another part of me says, nah, you brought back Maddox. You still got Isaiah Rodgers, somebody that you're still trying to figure out how good he can be. You're developing Ringo. You're developing Ricks. You're trying to develop McPherson. I don't put it past as Blunt. You bring up a very good question. I think the Eagles today, right now, and I know it sounds like I go back and forth on this a lot, but I think, and I am, I'm not shy about it. I go back and forth about how that first round is going to go. Right now, my heart is telling me they go trenches in the first round. My heart is telling me they go trenches. So what I mean is, it could be an edge rusher, it could be an O lineman, but I don't think it's going to be a traditional linebacker in the first round. I'll tell you that. I don't think the Eagles draft a traditional inside linebacker in the first round. That's not happening. They might not draft that position until maybe the second or fourth round. That's just that's just in their nature. I don't trust them to draft a traditional linebacker in the first round. I don't think they'll do that. I think in the first round at that pick, if they don't move, they're probably going to go edge rusher or offensive lineman at this rate. At this rate. See, and thank you, S. Blunt. I appreciate you, man, for donating to the channel and also raising a good question. It's something that we got to consider. Mac Main says, serious question. Besides AJ fussing with Hurts on the sideline last year, what makes him a diva? I don't know, man. People just say that because it's easy. People just say that because it's fun to say. It's triggering. But AJ Brown's not a diva. He's not. He's not. I don't buy into the narrative that he's an issue. He's a guy that can't be contained or a guy that's going to be a problem. I don't buy into that. I'm not one of those people that just says, "Oh yeah, AJ Brown is a problem." Nah, that's not. You know, I let I let other people have their own opinions, but I'm not on the side of things where I say AJ Brown is a diva. A lot goes into that. A lot has to go into being a diva, and he hasn't even done a lot of the prerequisites to become a diva. He really hasn't. And when he came on WIP to set the record straight, I commended him for that. I had a lot of respect for I had a lot of respect for that. You know, we were so quick to say he's a problem on the sideline, but let's be frank about this. He was the only one that showed some intensity all year, right? Who else? Who else showed some backbone all year? Give me a player other than AJ Brown who even gave you some kind of emotion or gave you something to let you know he cares about the outcome. Like, so when people call him a diva, I don't think it's warranted. I don't think he's warranted. He's confident in his abilities, rightfully so, and he believes that he can make any play happen, and he should feel that way. When you're paid the way he's paid and when he performs the way he performs, he should be fully confident in his ability to make the play no matter who's on him. A la 1K always open. He believes that. And he should believe that because I believe that, you know? So I'm asking y'all. I'm asking, you know, Smitty had his moments. He had his moments for sure. That's a good call. He had his moments. He had his moments. But Smitty is a bit more. He's a bit more quieter. Fletcher, good call. Good call. Good call. Fletcher showed some fight. So here's the thing, right? I'm so glad Eagle Slayer said that. He says people misconstrue diva with passion. Listen, I'm a very passionate dude. You guys watch the show. I'm passionate. And guess what? Some people may think I'm an asshole, right? Some people may think I'm an asshole because I'm passionate, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. You know, people love to manipulate someone's passion and hijack it and turn it into whatever they want to turn it into for their narratives. AJ Brown has never been an issue off the field. He's never gotten in any trouble. He's been a model citizen for the community. He's shown up in the city to various events, showing love to the kids. I I can't call that man a diva. I can't. People like to put him in the TO category. He's nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. So, yeah, man. I know what passion looks like. I know what it feels like, and I also know what it feels like to have your passion used against you. I know what that feels like. You know. So overall, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are trending in the right direction. They're trending in the right direction. Um, do I feel like there's still plenty to do? Definitely, definitely. I definitely think they still have more to do. I'm curious to know what their next move is at safety because I know a lot of you guys want Justin Simmons in the building. Um, we definitely want Sidney Brown to turn into a player. We definitely want CJ to be the guy, and they brought him back to be the guy. That solves one side, and they did extend Reed Blankenship. So, do the Philadelphia Eagles look at Reed Blankenship as their starting safety right now? Do they think they can improve there? I think they should consider improving there. They should definitely consider it. I don't think I don't think Reed Blankenship should be a lock if you have a chance to improve the position. Marty Gilman says, Tone, Sidney Brown's feeling way better off that ACL. He should. He should, man. I hope so. Um, hey, he might shock us and play week 1. He may shock us. As Blunt says, facts. Just something to keep headlines going, especially during the off season. Yeah, man. It's lazy in my opinion. I don't take kindly to it. And again, like it's one look, I'd much rather somebody just keep it 100 and say, yo, I don't really care for the guy. And I can respect that, but don't try to lie and say he's something he never really showed you to be. Just say you don't like his personality. Just say it's something about him you don't like. Okay, I can respect it to an extent, because at least it's not really rooted in fact. It's more so just a feeling he gives you. I can respect that. There's people that I don't really care for because of a feeling they give me. You know, maybe they didn't do nothing wrong. Maybe it's just I don't know. It's something about his face I don't like, and it happens. Life happens that way. But you know, but AJ Brown has been a model citizen for the Philadelphia Eagles and has been a model citizen for the city of Philadelphia. Sylvan says passion is contagious. Look at me. I called out your passion last night, and your level of passion is the same as mine. I'm here, bro. Facts. 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 I take what I do very seriously. I love it to death. I look forward to speaking to you guys damn near every day. You know, hey, Flexin, don't allow yourself to be manipulated the way you have been. Okay, life isn't that simple. I love you, Flexin. I love you, but don't believe everything you hear because it sounds good and it gets you excited. But yeah, man. Um, Delco Green, welcome to the show. He says, Tone, didn't Mailata get signed to a new contract recently? Does this extension signal he may move to right tackle when Lane leaves? He's not moving to right tackle. He's staying at left for one. Thank you, Delco, by the way, for locking in for sure. But he's staying at left tackle. That's not changing. He's not moving to left tackle. I mean right tackle. That'd be crazy. That's just silly. But he definitely got extended. You know, we talked about it a little earlier. But we can definitely rehash it for you, my friend. Jordan Mailata did get extended. He signed a three-year extension worth $66 million with $48 million in total guarantees with a $20 million signing bonus. That puts him in the fourth spot. That puts him in the fourth spot of left tackle paydays. So he's in the fourth spot at average salary. So listen to this. So his new $22 million salary puts Jordan Mailata in the fourth spot behind Larry Tunsil, who's one with $25 million, Andrew Thomas, who's two with $23.5 million, Trent Williams, who's third with $23 million, and then Jordan Mailata comes in the fourth spot, making $22 million per season. So his representation clearly didn't think it was necessary to make him the highest paid of the position, but they felt like he should be paid accordingly. And it makes sense. He's a top 5 left tackle. He's getting paid top 5 money, and he's getting paid the fourth right now. And the Eagles are getting ahead of the market. It's no way they would have let him go into the next season on a lame duck contract or even wait to allow his contract to get to that point. So Mailata is here to stay. Landon Dickerson here to stay. I don't think Mailata is going to left to right tackle at all, my friend, at all. But thank you, man, for locking in on the show as always. I appreciate you for being here. Really do. All right, where are we? Fitness Warrior says, Tone, it's almost $200 million on that left side. Hey, listen, man, you got to protect your quarterback's blind side, man. Got to protect the blind side. Where was I? But yeah, man. Bringing back Avonte Maddox. It's interesting. It's very interesting bringing back Avonte Maddox because a lot of people gave up on him because of the health, and I get that because he's a guy that I was talking about saying they got to cut him. They got to cut him and get away from that cap hit. Now they are taking some dead cap money on, but they knew damn well they wasn't going to. They knew damn well they wasn't going to allow him to play out that contract. No, you cut him, take a little bit of a dead cap hit, lower the base salary, and now he's in a position where he has to prove it. I think Tyler Hall is going to push him. I really believe that. I think Tyler Hall is going to push Avonte Maddox, and I expect Avonte Maddox to push Tyler Hall without a doubt. We got 120 people in the live stream, you guys. 56 on YouTube, 64 on the X side. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you smash that like button. It means a lot to me. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to the show. If you're new to the show, especially, make sure you subscribe and come back for more. And make sure you hit that notification bell. The notification bell reminds you guys whenever I go live, whenever something new drops on the channel, the notification bell is going to keep you privy. So make sure you guys are on the right side of history and make sure you're subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. But I think the Eagles, from a starting offensive line perspective, they're going to be okay. I expect them to draft an offensive lineman to improve depth for sure. Maybe draft 2, maybe draft 1 and then pick up one in as an undrafted free agent, right? Right? That's possible too. They draft one, maybe in the 4th round, maybe in the 2nd, and then they pick up another one as an undrafted free agent. That could work. That could work too. That could definitely work. By the way, let me make sure I got this right here. Excuse me, you guys. Did y'all hear? Did y'all hear The Rock take a shot at the Eagles and um Jalen Hurts? Did y'all see that? Did y'all see him take a little dig? He took a little shot. I don't appreciate The Rock taking a shot at the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not jacking that. I'm not jacking that, not one bit. I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that at all. I know, I know. I know he loves us. I know. He's in Philadelphia. Listen, right now, The Rock is the heel. He's leaning into the heel role. He's leaning hard into being the heel for this upcoming WrestleMania. WrestleMania in Philly is going to be a movie. I wish I could go. I don't even watch wrestling, but I would love to go to WrestleMania in Philly and see The Rock. I would love to see that. Did you guys also see uh Seth Rollins and Lane Johnson was getting some reps in the weight room? Lane Johnson and Seth Rollins was getting it in. Again, I'm not really. I haven't really watched wrestling in a long time. When they started. Now it's less blood, less chairs, less tables. They're not really. They try to make it as kid friendly as possible. So I get what they're trying to do from a financial standpoint, but overall, wrestling just isn't what it used to be. Sylvan, I don't know if No Diddy can save you on that one. That was a wild statement. I don't know if No Diddy can save you, bro. That was wild. That was wild. Dan Kwan, look, I don't watch wrestling, so I don't watch AEW or New Japan. Dan Kwan. So matter of fact, you know what? I kinda want to get into wrestling a little bit. I kind of want to, but I don't know how anymore. I don't know how anymore, man. Like, where do I go? Like, if is there anybody in here that still watches wrestling? Like, where should I? How can I get back into it? How can I get back into it, man? Wait, so wrestling is about to be on Netflix too? For real? Okay. Yo, Netflix been killing it with these live events. Netflix been killing it. I'm looking for I'm looking forward to the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. I want Mike Tyson to whoop his ass. I want Mike Tyson to whoop his ass. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Mike Tyson just put hands and feet on Jake Paul. I can't stand that dude, man. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest, man. I don't like Jake Paul not one bit. I don't like his face, but he can fight though. He could definitely fight, but I don't think he's. But I think he's strategically been picking his battles, so he can look better than what he really is. But you know, I think he can fight though. You can look at a guy and know he can fight. He could fight, but I just don't think he's as good as they make him out to be. Mike, listen, y'all see how Mike be moving, right? Y'all see y'all see how Mike be moving, right? Mike is not going in there for play. Mike is not going in there just to tap gloves. He going in there to hurt that man. McMahon said he was pissed when he beat Woolley. Yeah, Tyron Woodley didn't hold it down, man. He didn't hold it down. Tyron Woodley went in there, underestimated that man. He did not hold it down. Matt Weeks. Oh, word. So they made a deal with Raw on Netflix starting next year. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. That's cool. Still, man. I know Woodley's not a boxer. I know he's not a boxer, and I know Paul actually can fight. But Tyron Woodley should have held it down better than that, man. I know I got you guys, and again, Jake Paul, he's picking these fighters that he know or don't really have a strong boxing background. And the moment he fought somebody that actually has some kind of boxing background, he lost. He lost didn't he lose to Tyson Fury brother? He lost to Tyson Fury's brother, right? So the moment he fought somebody that had actual boxing acumen, he lost. So, you know what I mean? I want Jake Paul to fight some real boxers, not guys who are MMA guys and they're not really boxers by trade. Mike Tyson is a technician. He's a legit boxer. Can't play around with that, man. It's a pit bull. He's not knocking out Mike, bro. He's not. He's not knocking out Mike, bro. That's not even an option. That's not even an option. Tommy Fury. Yes, that's what it was. Tommy Fury. It's not even an option. Anyway, all right. So, overall, we spoke about the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. We addressed Jordan Mailata's extension. We addressed Landon Dickerson's extension again. We also addressed Avonte Maddox return to the Philadelphia Eagles and what the cornerback room looks like now that he's back. And I even touched on Cam Jurgens. Here's the thing, man. Cam Jurgens, he's going to be he has big shoes to fill, but I want Cam Jurgens to come in as the starting center and be the best version of him. I don't want him to try to be Jason Kelsey. I want him to, master that chemistry and that relationship between himself and Jalen Hurts. Because the last thing I want to see is snaps that go over his head or bad snaps in general. I don't want to see bad snaps. I want I'm going to be watching closely that dynamic between Jalen Hurts and Cam Jurgens and how it develops throughout the season. I'm going to be paying close attention to that. Yo, listen. I hope y'all know they ducking Shakur. I hope y'all know they ducking Shakur Stevenson. Yes, they're ducking Shakur. Ryan Garcia don't want smoke with Shakur. Devin Haney don't want smoke with Shakur. Like, they ducking that man. I believe that. I'm sorry. I firmly believe they ducking Shakur. They keep trying to say he not a draw. They saying all the things that they can't. They saying all the things to make sure one of those fights can't happen. But I think Shakur Stevenson is a guy that is better than all of them, and they don't want to give him the shot. I think that. I think Haney I think I think Haney gonna slump Ryan Garcia. I think Ryan Garcia going down before round 4. I think Haney gonna put Garcia down. I firmly believe that. He gonna put Garcia down. Garcia's he's a clown, bro. Like I used to like Ryan Garcia, but he just an Instagram. I ain't gonna lie, man. He's an Instagram fighter. He's an Instagram fighter, man. I think Haney gonna sleep Ryan Garcia. But yeah, I keep deviating from football. But yeah, Cam Jurgens, he got to stay healthy. Cam Jurgens is the key. He's the key. I know what Mailata is going to do. I know what Landon Dickerson is going to do. I know what Lane Johnson is going to do. The right guard spot still up in the air, but you know, Cam Jurgens, that center spot, that center spot is his, and he has to come in and be legitimate. You know, I'm not even saying he has to come in and be a all pro. I'm not even saying that. I need him to come in and be good. Simple as that. Be good. Be good and be healthy. Y'all crazy talk about Garcia on that powder. Y'all wild. Y'all crazy as hell. Shit, he might be. I don't know. He too twitchy to me. He a little too twitchy. Crowley says, I don't have faith in Jurgens. How come? Is it strictly the health part? Donald Rohn says, Jurgens playing guard was so good for his development. Got playing experience between Lane and Kelsey will make him be good. Yeah, like, you know, he definitely has he picked up a good amount of experience at right guard. He did. He definitely picked up some experience at right guard. You know, he got cross trained. You know, when he was out there, they were good. But you know, he's going to be the center, and I think that's his natural position. No, it is his natural position. Excuse me, sorry, you guys. It is his natural position, and I'm more concerned about the health part, not the ability. Shrek Smith, what's going on, my man? That profile picture is gnarly. He says, new subscribe, love the content. Thank you, my man. I really appreciate the commitment by you. I appreciate the support. It's just dope. But that profile picture is diabolical. I've never seen anything like that. That profile pic is sick. But you know, I'm a big Shrek fan, so thank you for locking in, Shrek. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. That profile picture is diabolical. Eagle Slayer says Jurgens will never fill in Kelsey's shoes, but he has the potential to be serviceable. I think. Look, here's the thing, right? I think at worst, Cam Jurgens is serviceable. At best, he's a Pro Bowler. At best, right? All Pro was another level, but I think at worst he's serviceable, and at best he's a Pro Bowler, a fringe Pro Bowler, and I think that's cool. I think that's I would be totally content if Cam Jurgens was always in the running for the Pro Bowl but never made it. Now, you know, he's undersized as well, like a Jason Kelsey type. So we're going to see. But I would be totally content if Cam Jurgens came in. He was a solid starting center. Good enough to make the Pro Bowl, but maybe couldn't because there were some guys ahead of him. You know, if he can be a fringe Pro Bowler every year, I'm totally on board with that. We got 122 people on the live stream, 70 people locked in on the X side, 52 people on the Twitter on the YouTube side. Thank y'all so much for staying committed to the show for as long as you have. We're going to be live for about another 15 minutes. So make sure you guys hit that like button while you can. All my people on the Twitter side, if you can do me the quick favor, a very, very, very quick favor, if you can migrate to the YouTube side and smash that like button. I know I keep reiterating it, but it works and it helps. The like button is really important in the YouTube space, and it really helps new people find the show. It helps new people, commit themselves to the show. Like our guy Shrek Smith here. Shrek Smith is a new subscriber, and he found the show. He found the show because it was probably recommended to him. It probably came up in his in his home feed or in his trending feed or maybe in his live feed. Maybe he was recommended the show by someone he knows. Who you never know. But that like button helps new people like our guy Shrek here find the show. So if you guys can do me the justice of smashing that like button, especially all my people on the Twitter side, if you can migrate over to the YouTube side. Again, I don't want to inconvenience you, not one bit. I know you're watching it on that side for a reason, but if you could just do me a quick favor, hit the like button, and then we'll I'll be perfectly content with that. And also retweet. That stuff is pretty cool too. Any kind of way for new people to find a show, I'm always down for. Not just the like button, but retweeting, hitting the like button on Twitter, even replying. Just engagement, impressions. Just keep on engaging. That's why the content is growing the way it's growing. My man, Marty. My man, where is it? I just had it. My man, Marty is a new subscriber as well. Thank you, Marty Gilman. That's a sicko profile picture, Marty. He says, Tone, do you play Helldivers 2? No. I don't play Helldivers 2. Thank you, Marty, for subscribing to the show, man. I appreciate it. But no, I've never played Helldivers 2. I heard it's a pretty fun game, though. I heard it's a pretty fun game. I saw trailers for it. It looks good. Isn't it like some kind of like alien survival type game, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, before we get out of here, man, y'all keep throwing me off with this Diddy shit, man. Oh, it's like Starship Troopers. Okay, I've seen that movie. My man Shrek with the $1 super chat. Thank you, my man. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you for donating to the channel. Every dollar is valuable to me, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Shrek. I appreciate it. Thank you. Fitness Warrior says, Tone don't play games, bro. He just rides bulls in the spirits. Yo, you motherfuckers are lucky I'm a good sport. You guys are so lucky that I'm a good sport, man. So lucky I'm a good sport. If you ask my wife, she'll say I'm a sensitive guy, but I don't know. I think I'm a pretty good sport. Dan Quan, why are you singing the Pokemon theme song, bro? Pretty Mimi says, hey, Tone, do we have time to discuss Xavier Weaver's pro day yesterday? 11 NFL teams were there, including the Eagles. Wow. So Xavier Weaver is the isn't he that receiver? Right? Xavier Weaver. Wasn't he that receiver? The Colorado receiver, yeah, 6 feet. He's slight though, 169 pounds. He's very slight. But again, I don't want to discourage him when Devontae Smith was a slight guy and came into the fold doing his thing. So let's see if we can find some information about Xavier Weaver, because apparently he did turn heads at his pro day. Um, let's read some information about it, right? Let's lock in because Mimi asked so nicely. Xavier Weaver's from Colorado, you guys. Colorado. If you didn't already know. My man BG31. Thanks for locking in on the show, my man. I appreciate you. Thank you, Bird Gang. I appreciate you, my man. So let's read up on Xavier Weaver's pro day. Apparently, he did well. I'm going to zoom in a bit to make it easier for us to read. So give me a little bit of a time here to make this thing happen. All right. So let's go. Xavier Weaver turned heads at his pro day yesterday. It says here, after foregoing drills and focusing on interviews at the NFL scouting combine last month. That was smart. That was kind of smart. At the end of the day, get to know these teams. Let them get a feel for you. That's smart. After foregoing drills and focusing on interviews, because you know what? You know what it probably allowed him to do too? It probably allowed him to increase the amount of people that would come to his pro day, right? When you by focusing on the interviews, it gave him more time to talk to more teams. Hey, that's smart. That's smart. Says here, after foregoing drills and focusing on interviews at the NFL Scouting Combine last month, Xavier Weaver showcased his skills on multiple fronts here at the indoor practice facility Wednesday morning. Scouts from 12 NFL teams traveled to Boulder to see the 6-foot, 175-pound receiver in action. Weaver started the day getting measured before taking part in physical drills in which he excelled in. He ran a solid 4.47 40-yard dash, which would have tied for the 21st fastest time out of the 30 receivers that participated at the NFL Scouting Combine. Quote, I know a lot of people came out here thinking I was going to be able to run fast, Weaver said after his performance. Quote, they probably thought my top end speed wasn't fast enough. I definitely think I put some money in my pocket. On top of his eye-opening 40-yard dash time, Xavier Weaver also tested very well in the vertical and broad jumps. He recorded a 37-inch vertical and a 10'7" broad jump, which both would have been top 20 marks at the combine. Before running routes, Weaver wrapped up testing with the 3-cone drill and shuttle. He finished with a 7-second 3-cone time and a 4.3-second shuttle as several of his teammates watched and supported him from the sidelines. Quote, I thought I was going to be out here by myself and probably a couple of people, but they showed up and showed a lot of support and love. So it just means a lot to me. End quote. Weaver commented. Weaver finished his collegiate career with 184 receptions for 2,643 total yards and 14 touchdowns after playing 4 seasons at South Florida and 1 at Colorado. So he's an older guy. He's what, 23, maybe? So the 2024 NFL draft is scheduled to take place in Detroit. Okay. All right. So could he get drafted? It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible he gets drafted. Let's get some more info on him real quick before we get out of here, right? Let's go to let's read his breakdown on NFL Draft Buzz. Let's see here. Weaver. Here it is. All right, Xavier Weaver. Okay. So they don't really have anything. Okay, I could probably find it though in another place. Give me a second. All right, here we go. Xavier Weaver, the Draft Network. Here we go. Let's pull up a scouting report. All righty. Let's zoom in on this. Can't stand advertisements. They're always in the way. Okay. So this was done by Keith Sanchez, March 15th, 2024 at 10:58 a.m. Xavier Weaver at that time, 6 feet, 169 pounds. So he put up some weight between March 15th and his pro day date. Um, Arm length 31 and an eighth inches, 31 and 1/8 inches. Uh, Hand size almost 9 inches. Accomplishments: second team All ACC in 2022. Xavier Weaver has the athletic traits to develop into a receiver who can be relied upon to create explosive plays in the right NFL offense. Strengths: acceleration and stop ability, route running and quickness, alignment. He's alignment versatile. Okay, that's cool. I mean, he can play inside, outside, wherever you want him. He's a high IQ player. I like that. Knows where to be. Knows how to sit in the soft spots of the zone. I like that. That's what I take from being a high IQ player. Um, Concerns: his catch radius, his size, and he can be a bit role specific. So this is the film analysis via the Draft Network when it comes to Xavier Weaver, wide receiver out of Colorado. Says here Xavier Weaver entered the NFL draft after spending his first four years at USF and then transferring to Colorado, where he emerged as one of their best players. Weaver is an alignment versatile receiver who appears to be a reliable big play option, utilizing his speed, acceleration, and open field elusiveness to create big plays. Weaver can align as an outside receiver or in the slot and create explosive plays as a route runner. Weaver can accelerate and decelerate to get in and out of breaks and routes. This allows Weaver to create separation from defenders on short and intermediate routes. Weaver also showcases as a high IQ player and how he understands how to run routes against off coverage, understanding how to threaten defensive backs, cushion and snap off routes to stay in uncovered areas while running routes. I like guys like that. When running vertical deep routes, Weaver is a quick accelerator and can run past defenders to create a big play. Weaver also understands how to set up and stem defenders using leverage and a rocker step at the top of his route to sell defenders on false directions at the top of the route. Weaver has deceptive speed that appears to catch defenders off guard and allows him to win vertically. Weaver does a good job tracking the ball and can track the ball over either shoulder to haul in accurate passes in tight, condensed situations. With the ball in his hands, Weaver showcases his open field elusiveness. He can make the first defenders miss and get vertical up the field. Weaver is a player that can change direction instantly, and he makes for an ideal player to use for quick screens, tunnel screens, and jet motion handoffs to convert into big plays. Weaver's concern as a player is that his limited frame may make him a specific role player. Weaver's lack of size prevents him from being an ideal middle of the field player due to potential injury. He also appears to have a limited catch radius, which means most passes will have to come via an accurate pass from the quarterback. Overall, Weaver has many translatable NFL traits that can make him a productive receiver in the NFL in the right scheme and role. He's projected, according to Keith Sanchez, he's projected to go day 3 because he has developmental traits, not a finished product at all. The best games to view him in was in the 2023 USC and Oregon and UCLA matchups, and also the Nebraska matchup as well. So, okay. He sounds interesting. I'm intrigued for sure. But yeah, man, it's been a hell of a show, you guys. I appreciate you guys for locking in on the content. If you guys could do me a favor, please smash that like button before we get out of here. On top of that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, especially if you're new. All my loyal subscribers, I appreciate you guys so much as well. You guys come in and you guys show out every single time, and it's really dope to me. Especially my Twitter family. I appreciate you guys holding it down on the X side of things. The YouTube family, I appreciate you guys. No, we've been fitness word. That's funny. But yeah, man, congratulations again to Jordan Mailata. Let's do a quick recap before we get out of here. So Jordan Mailata, he did sign a 3-year extension with the Philadelphia Eagles worth up to $66 million. And he's guaranteed $48 million with a $20 million signing bonus. This secures him for the Eagles through the 2028 season. On top of that, he did just turn 27 years old, so he's beginning to enter his prime. And he's entering his 5th season in the NFL. On top of that, his new $22 million salary ranks him 4th in the NFL amongst left tackles in average annual salary. That puts him behind Laramie Tunsil, who's ranked number 1 with $25 million. Andrew Thomas at 2 with $23.5 million, and Trent Williams, the future Hall of Famer, at 3 with $23 million. And Jordan Mailata is ranked 4th with his $22 million annual salary. This is completely on brand for the Philadelphia Eagles. This comes on the heel of Landon Dickerson getting his contract as well. Landon Dickerson got secured with a 4-year extension worth up to $87 million. So the entire left side of the Eagles offensive line has been secured. Can Cam Jurgens come in and be in the future as center? A lot still remains to be seen, but I'm very optimistic about Cam Jurgens. I think Cam Jurgens will be ultimately okay, but I think his health is the biggest concern. We know when it comes to that. The right guard spot, Tyler Steen, Matt Hennessy, who's gonna stand the test of time there? Will they draft another guy, right? It all remains to be seen once again. And then the right tackle spot, Lane Johnson. We don't have any concerns about him. We do obviously want him to stay healthy throughout the season. He battles his neck injuries here and there. How many years does Lane Johnson have left? That's a big question as well. 1 year, 2 years. Some people say 3. I'm more so on the mindset of Lane Johnson is on a year-to-year basis. That's just my humble opinion. I know his contract takes him through to the 2026 season. And I don't doubt mentally he thinks he can do that, but you never know. Injuries can change guys' motives and change their perspective on things. So overall, the Philadelphia Eagles have debatably a top 3 offensive line. In my opinion, they're still top 5. It's without question they're top 10, without question, without fail. Mailata, top 5 at his position. Argue with your mother. Landon Dickerson, top 5 at his position. Argue with your mother. Lane Johnson, top 3 at his position. Argue with your mother. So overall, the Philadelphia Eagles are in good shape on the offensive line front. I will definitely. I'm looking forward to them adding more depth, maybe in the draft. Maybe they draft a guy in the 2nd or 3rd, in the 2nd or 4th round, and then they pick up another offensive lineman as an undrafted free agent. That's entirely on brand for them as well. So yeah, the offensive line is in good shape. Devontae Smith, that contract, that's going to be coming up very soon. I can't wait to figure out how they're going to take care of him. And Avonte Maddox. Avonte Maddox is coming back. He's been re-signed by the Philadelphia Eagles on a 1-year deal. Remember, they cut him about a month ago to try to relieve that cap hit. He was due a good chunk of change, and they decided to cut him to lower that base salary. The details to the contract haven't come out yet, but they brought him back on a 1-year deal. He's going to compete directly with guys like Tyler Hall. He's going to compete with Zach McPherson, all those kind of guys, because all those guys are fighting to get on the field. Maybe he's competing with Isaiah Rodgers as well. Maybe Bradbury is competing with Isaiah Rodgers. It all remains to be seen. But Avonte Maddox is back with the Philadelphia Eagles. How does Avonte Maddox coming back change their approach to the draft when it comes to the cornerback position, right? Isaiah Rodgers, guys like that, Bradbury, Slay. The Eagles do got to start thinking about life beyond Bradbury and Slay, without a doubt. But how does this alter their process, right? Does trading Hassan Reddick mean they're going to go edge rusher in the 1st round? I don't think they go traditional inside linebacker in the 1st. I think at this rate, it's either going to be an edge rusher or an offensive lineman. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now. But at the end of the day, we'll see. I'm not Nostradamus, but I just make my own educated guesses, and we'll find out. But other than that, man, I appreciate you guys so much for locking in on the content. Shout out to my man Corey Allen for donating twice to the channel today. I really appreciate you, Corey. Make sure you guys continue to hit that like button. Shout out to my man S Blunt for donating to the channel 2 times today. I appreciate you, my man, my OG, triple OG. Thank you so much. Shout out to Philly 007 as well for donating to the channel. I appreciate you, my friend. Also, let me also take care of my man Shrek here. Shrek donated to the channel as well. So that's pretty dope too. And I'm a big Shrek fan. So shout out to my man Shrek for donating $1 to the channel, along with Philly 007 donating to the channel. I really appreciate that. And last but not least, shout out to my man Cody for donating to the channel as well. It means a lot to me. The content is nothing without the people. So make sure you guys continue to stay on the right side of history. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys continue to stay engaged with the content. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show. All my Twitter people, thank y'all so much as well. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter if you haven't already. All the information is at the bottom of the screen, growing across the ticker. That's my Twitter handle at DShields. And Chalk It Up Sports is my Instagram handle. You guys can subscribe, follow everything on the Instagram side and the Twitter side as well. So again, smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show. And there you have it, you guys. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II, and you guys were locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.